Maya pressed her phone against her ear, already shaking her head. Emma, I can't just… Please, her sister begged through the speaker. My car won't start, and he's landing in 40 minutes. You're closer to the airport than I am. Maya looked at her laptop screen, at the half-finished presentation due tomorrow. Who is this person anyway? A client. A very important. Just hold up the sign with his name and drive him to the Grandview Hotel. That's it. I'll owe you forever. 20 minutes later, Maya stood in the arrivals terminal, holding a hastily written sign that read Mr. Chen. Emma had texted her a description: tall, late 30s, probably wearing a seat. Maya scanned the crowd, feeling ridiculous. She'd never done anything like this before. A man walked toward her, tall, dark suit, tired eye. Mr. Chen, she asked. He stopped, stared at the sign, then at her face. Something flickered in his expression, confusion maybe, or surprise, but then he nodded slowly. Yeah. Before we continue, let us know in the comments where you're watching from, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Life Frames. Maya grabbed his single carry-on before he could protest. My sister was supposed to pick you up, but she had car trouble. I'm Maya, the car's this way. He followed silently. She noticed he didn't have the phone glued to his ear like most business travelers. No assistant trailing behind. No expensive watch, though his suit was well made. When they reached her Bodist sedan, she saw him hesitate. Sorry, it's not a town car, Maya said, popping the trunk. This was last minute. It's fine. His voice was deeper than she expected. Thank you for coming. The drive started in awkward silence. Maya focused on merging onto the highway while her passenger stared out the window. She tried to remember what Emma had told her about this client, but her sister had been talking so fast. So, you're visiting for business? Maya attempted conversation. Something like that. Not much of a talker, she thought. Fine by her, less chance of saying something stupid. But at a red light, she glanced over and caught him looking at her.
Really looking, not the casual glance of a passenger checking on their driver, but something more intent.
When their eyes met, he looked away quickly. Do I have something on my face? Maya asked. No. Sorry, he cleared his throat. You just don't look like what I expected. Well, you were expecting my sister, so that makes sense. Right, but his tone suggested that wasn't quite what he meant. Traffic slowed to a crawl. Maya drummed her fingers on the wheel, mentally calculating whether she'd still have time to finish her presentation tonight. Beside her, Mr. Chen remained quiet, but she could cool tension radiating from him. We're going to be late, he finally said. The hotel's only 10 minutes away, once we get through this. Maya switched lanes, trying to find a faster route. I'm not staying at the Grandview. Maya's foot nearly slipped off the brake. What? But my sister said. There's been a misunderstanding. He pulled out his phone, checked something, then put it away again. Can you take me to Riverside Park instead? The park? That's across town. Maya's confusion grew. What kind of business client needs to go to a park? Look, I'm just following instructions. Emma said the Grandview Hotel. Plans changed. His jaw tightened. Please. It's important. There was something in his voice, not demanding, but almost desperate. Maya found herself nodding despite her better judgment. Fine, but you'll have to give me directions. As she took the next exit, her phone buzzed. Emma calling. Maya ignored it. Whatever was happening, she'd explain later. Mr. Chen directed her through unfamiliar neighborhoods. The business district gave way to residential areas, then to the sprawling green space of Riverside Park. It was nearly empty this time of evening. Here, Maya asked, pulling into the parking lot. Yes. Thank you. But he didn't move to get out. Instead, he turned to face her fully. I need to tell you something. Maya's pulse quickened. If this is some kind of weird situation, I'm leaving. No, nothing like that. It's just, he ran a hand through his hair, disturbing its neat style. My name isn't Chen. The words hung in the air between them. Maya's hand moved toward the door handle instinctively. Then who are you? Daniel Morrison. He watched her carefully, as if the name should mean something. When she showed no recognition, he seemed to relax slightly. And you're not Emma's assistant, are you? I'm her sister. I told you that. But you didn't know about me, about who you were really picking up. It wasn't a question. Maya's mind raced. The sign said Mr. Chen, and when you held it up, I thought. He stopped himself. This is going to sound insane. Try me. I'm already here. Daniel took a breath. I've been coming to this city once a month for the past year. Always the same day, same flight. And every time, there's someone at the airport holding a sign with a fake name, taking me somewhere I didn't ask to go. Maya stared at him. That's the most paranoid thing I've ever heard. Is it? Daniel's expression was serious. 3 months ago, Chen. Before that, Williams, Anderson. Always different names. Always someone I don't know holding the sign. So why do you go with them? Because I'm trying to figure out why it's happening. He looked toward the park, and because each time they take me somewhere that matters, somewhere connected to my past. This was insane. Maya should drive away, call Emma, forget this ever happened. But something made her stay. Connected how? This park. I used to come here as a kid, before my family moved away. Daniel's voice softened. The person who picked me up last month took me to the street where my grandmother lived. The time before, to my old elementary school. Someone's playing a game with you. Or trying to tell me something. He met her eyes. You really don't know anything about this? I swear, Emma just said pick up a client named Mr. Chen. That's all I know. Maya pulled out her phone. I'm calling her right now. But Emma didn't answer. The call went straight to voicemail. Daniel reached for his door handle. I'm going to walk through the park, see if there's something I'm supposed to find. Wait. Maya surprised herself by saying it. This could be dangerous. What if someone's setting you up? That's why I told you the truth. If something happens to me, at least someone knows. He paused. You don't have to come. But Maya found herself turning off the car. 5 minutes. Then I'm gone. They walked in silence down a tree-lined path. The evening air was cooling, and the park was nearly deserted. Daniel seemed to know where he was going, taking turns without hesitation. There, he said finally, pointing to an old bench near a pond. Maya saw it. A white envelope tucked under the bench's armrest. Daniel retrieved it with shaking hands. Inside was a single photograph and a note. What is it? Maya asked. He showed her the photo. A young boy, maybe 8 years old, standing in front of this same bench with a woman who had Daniel's eyes. My mother, he whispered. She died when I was 10. The note was written in careful handwriting. She wanted you to remember the good times. Stop running from the past. Daniel sat down heavily on the bench. Maya sat beside him, unsure what to say. Around them the park was darkening, streetlights beginning to flicker on. I don't understand, Daniel said. Who's doing this? Why? Maya looked at the photograph again, then at Daniel's face. Someone who knew your mother. Someone who thinks you need this. But I've been successful. I've built a life. I don't need. He stopped, the words sounding hollow even to him. Maybe success isn't what they're worried about, Maya said quietly. Daniel stared at the photograph like it might disappear. I haven't thought about this place in 20 years. Why not? Maya asked. She knew she should leave, should get back to her normal evening, but something kept her rooted to that bench, because remembering hurt too much. He slid the photo back into the envelope. After she died, my father sold everything. We moved across the country. He said fresh starts were important. So I learned not to look back. That sounds lonely. It was practical. But his voice cracked slightly. I focused on school, then work. Built something from nothing. That's what matters. Maya thought about her own life, her tiny apartment, her mediocre job, her stack of unfinished dreams. Does it make you happy? Daniel didn't answer. Instead, he stood and walked to the edge of the pond. Maya followed, keeping a respectful distance. Last month, he said, when they took me to my grandmother's street, there was a letter waiting. It said she'd left me something in her will, but my father never told me. He'd collected it and never passed it on. What was it? Her journals. 20 years of journals. Daniel's hands clenched. She wrote about me in every single one. How much she missed me after we moved. How she'd tried to stay in touch, but my father blocked her calls. Maya felt anger rise in her chest. That's cruel. That's control. Daniel turned to face her. My father wanted me to forget, to become someone new. And I did exactly what he wanted. Until someone started leaving you these breadcrumbs. Exactly. He pulled out his phone, checked it, then put it away again. The gesture seemed habitual, like he was always expecting a call that never came. I've been trying to figure out who. I've hired investigators, checked security footage, nothing. Maya's analytical mind kicked in. Your sister's client, the real Mr. Chen. Do you think he exists? Daniel's eyes widened. I never thought. Maybe there is no client. Maybe Emma was contacted specifically to send someone to that airport today. Maya pulled out her own phone. What airline were you on? As Daniel told her, Maya's fingers flew across her screen. She found the flight information, then checked Emma's recent emails. Her sister was terrible at password protection. Maya had helped her reset accounts dozens of times. Here, Maya said, showing Daniel the screen. Emma got an email 3 days ago. Anonymous sender, said a VIP client needed airport pickup. Gave your flight details. Ask specifically for someone trustworthy who could handle last-minute changes. They planned this. They've been planning all of it. Maya scrolled further. And look, payment was sent in advance. Double Emma's usual rate. Daniel moved closer to read over her shoulder. Can you trace where it came from? Not without better equipment, but someone went through a lot of trouble to get you here tonight. Maya looked up at him. Question is, why? What's the end game? Daniel's phone rang. They both jumped. He looked at the screen, and his face went pale. Unknown number. Answer it, Maya urged. He hit speaker. Hello, Daniel. The voice was elderly, female, warm but firm. You finally came. Who is this? Someone who loved your mother very much. Someone who watched you grow up, at least until you disappeared. A pause. Someone who's been trying to bring you back to yourself. Maya and Daniel exchanged glances. Mrs. Patterson? Daniel asked, his voice barely above a whisper. Very good. Your memory isn't completely gone. My mother's best friend, Daniel explained to Maya, then spoke into the phone. I thought you moved away years ago. I did, but I came back. And when I returned, I started asking questions about you. Mrs. Patterson's voice carried a mix of affection and reproach. What I found broke my heart. A successful man with no connections, no roots, no joy, just work and loneliness. You had no right. I had every right. I promised your mother I'd watch over you. When your father cut everyone off, I couldn't reach you, but I never stopped trying. Papers rustled in the background. It took me 3 years to find you. Another year to plan all this. Maya found her voice. Why the mystery? Why not just contact him directly? Because he would have refused, Mrs. Patterson said simply. Men like Daniel, who've built walls around their hearts, they don't let anyone in willingly. You have to show them what they're missing, remind them of who they were before the walls went up. Daniel sank back onto the bench. All those trips. The fake names. That was all you. With help. Your mother had many friends. We all remember the sweet boy who loved feeding ducks in this park, who spent hours at his grandmother's house building pillow forts, who cried on his last day at elementary school because he'd miss his friends. Her voice softened further. We wondered what happened to that boy. He grew up. No dear. He was buried alive. The words hit like a physical blow. Maya watched Daniel's careful composure crack. His hands trembled as he held the phone. Why involve Maya? He asked. Why her sister? I needed someone with no agenda. Someone genuine. Mrs. Patterson chuckled. Emma's profile said her sister sometimes helped with last-minute jobs. I gambled that you'd be yourself around a stranger. That maybe, without the weight of expectations, you could start to remember. Maya felt like a pawn in an elaborate chess game. You manipulated us. I gave you both an opportunity. What you do with it is your choice. Mrs. Patterson's tone turned serious. Daniel, there's one more thing, one more place you need to go. Maya has the address in her email now. Maya's phone pinged. She looked at the screen, then at Daniel. It's a residential address. My old house, Daniel said, reading it. The one we left when my mother died. The new owners are expecting you. They found something in the attic last month, something your father left behind. Mrs. Patterson's voice grew quieter. Letters, Daniel. Letters your mother wrote to you before she died, one for every year until you turned 30. Daniel's breath caught. That's impossible. She knew her cancer was terminal. She wanted to stay in your life, even after she was gone. Your father hid them. A pause. They're yours now, but you have to go get them. The line went dead. They sat in Maya's car outside the house. It was a modest 2-story home with a neat lawn and warm lights glowing in the windows. Daniel hadn't moved in 5 minutes. We don't have to do this, Maya said. I can take you back to the airport. And go where? Back to my empty apartment? My office? Daniel laughed bitterly. Mrs. Patterson was right. I've built a perfect life with nothing in it. Maya understood more than she wanted to. I'm 28 years old, and my biggest accomplishment is helping my sister with her business sometimes. I work at a job I hate, live alone, and can't remember the last time I did something that actually mattered. She looked at the house. Maybe we're both running from something. You're young. You have time. So do you. Maya turned to face him. Look, I don't know you. We met 3 hours ago, under weird circumstances. But I've watched you hold that photograph like it's made of glass. I've heard you talk about your mother. You're not empty, Daniel. You're just scared. Of what? Of feeling something, of letting those walls down and discovering what's underneath. She grabbed his hand impulsively. Come on, let's see what she left you. The homeowners were a kind couple in their 50s who'd found the box during renovations. They led Daniel and Maya to a dining room table where a weathered cardboard box sat waiting. We didn't read them, the wife said. They're private, but Mrs. Patterson told us your story. We're glad you came. When they left Daniel and Maya alone, the silence felt sacred. Daniel's hands hovered over the box, not quite touching it. She wrote me letters, he whispered, for 18 years after she died. Maya's throat tightened. Open it. The first envelope was labeled for Daniel, age 11. Inside, his mother's handwriting covered 2 pages. My dearest son, Daniel read aloud, his voice breaking. By the time you read this, I'll be gone a year. I hope you're doing well in your new school. I hope you've made friends. I hope your father is taking care of you the way you deserve. He couldn't continue. Maya took the letter gently and read the rest. I know this year is hard. 11 is when boys start becoming young men. I wish I could be there to see it. Remember that you're allowed to cry. You're allowed to miss me. You're allowed to be angry at the universe for taking me away. Don't let anyone tell you to be strong all the time. Real strength is feeling everything and choosing to keep going anyway. Maya's own eyes blurred with tears. She sounds amazing. She was. Daniel pulled out another letter. Age 12. Then another. 13. His hands moved faster. She wrote about everything. Homework struggles. First crushes. Learning to drive. College applications. She imagined my whole life. She loved you. I forgot. The words came out broken. I actually forgot how much she loved me. My father said grief was weakness, that we honor the dead by moving forward, not looking back. So I stopped thinking about her. I stopped letting myself remember. Maya moved closer. You were a kid trying to survive. I survived so well I forgot how to live. Daniel spread the letters across the table. 18 envelopes. 18 years of love from beyond the grave. What do I do with this? You read them, all of them. Maya checked her phone. I'll tell the owners we need time. Over the next 2 hours, Daniel read every letter. Maya stayed, sometimes reading passages when his voice failed, sometimes just sitting in supportive silence. The letters revealed a woman who'd faced death with remarkable grace, who'd tried to parent her son even after leaving him. At age 16, she warned him about peer pressure. At 20, she advised him about college majors and following dreams. At 25, she wrote about career choices and the importance of balance. Each letter lettered the same way. I love you more than words can say. Make your life beautiful. Make it full. Make it yours. It was past midnight when they finally left the house. Maya drove through empty streets while Daniel clutched the box of letters in his lap like a lifeline. Where do you want to go? She asked. I don't know. He looked lost. I have a hotel reservation downtown. But the idea of being alone in some sterile room right now. My apartment's small, but I have a couch, Maya offered before she could overthink it. And coffee, lots of coffee. Daniel smiled, the first real smile she'd seen from him. That sounds perfect. At her apartment, Maya made good on her promise. They sat on her tiny balcony with steaming mugs, watching the city wake up. The first hints of dawn colored the sky. I've been thinking, Daniel said. All those months, Mrs. Patterson sent me to places that mattered. But tonight, the biggest gift wasn't the letters. It was having someone to share them with. Maya felt her cheeks warm. I'm glad I was there. What are the odds? Your sister's car breaks down. You pick up a stranger with the wrong name, and we end up, he gestured at the letters at the balcony, at the space between them. Here, maybe Mrs. Patterson planned that too. I don't think so. I think this part was just luck. Good luck, for once. Daniel set down his mug. I have to ask, what were you working on when Emma called? She said you were busy. A presentation for work. It's due today, actually. Maya checked her phone. In 4 hours. And you spent the whole night with a stranger instead. Weirdest Wednesday ever. But Maya was smiling. You know what though? I don't regret it. That presentation's for a job I'm going to quit anyway. Really? Really? I've been miserable for 2 years, but I was too scared to leave. Too scared to try something new. She looked at Daniel. Tonight, watching you face all that pain and history, it made me realize I've been hiding too. Different walls, same problem. They talked until the sun was fully up. Daniel told her about his work, the endless meetings and decisions that filled his days, but left his nights empty. Maya confessed her dream of becoming a teacher, something she abandoned because it seemed impractical. Do it, Daniel said. Life's too short to be practical. Says the CEO. Former CEO. He said it casually, but Maya caught the weight behind the words. What? I'm resigning. I decided somewhere around letter 15. Daniel laughed at her expression. My mother asked me at age 21 what kind of life would make me proud. I never answered that question. I just did what seemed impressive to everyone else. That's a huge decision to make at 2 in the morning. Best time for huge decisions. He leaned forward. Come with me. Where? I don't know yet. That's the point. Daniel's eyes were bright with something Maya realized was hope. Mrs. Patterson woke me up. Now I need to figure out who I actually am, without all the armor. And you should go be a teacher. Or travel. Or do whatever you've been putting off. Maya wanted to say yes immediately. But practical thoughts intruded. We just met. This is crazy. Craziest thing that's ever happened to me, Daniel agreed. But also the most real. For the first time in 20 years, I feel awake. I don't want to waste that. I have bills. Responsibilities. So do I. We'll figure it out. He took her hand. Or we won't, and we'll come back and get normal jobs and pretend this never happened. But at least we'll have tried. Maya thought about her presentation, her tiny apartment, her careful small life. Then she thought about Daniel reading his mother's letters, his face transforming from closed to open, from lonely to hopeful. Okay, she said, let's be crazy together. They spent the rest of that morning making impossible plans that felt entirely possible. Daniel called Mrs. Patterson and thanked her, really thanked her, and promised to stay in touch. Maya emailed her resignation, her hands shaking but her heart certain. 3 months later, Maya stood in front of her first classroom, 25 eager faces, looking up at her. Her phone buzzed with a text from Daniel. First day teaching. You're going to do amazing. He was in the city where his mother was buried, finally visiting her grave after years of avoidance. They'd spent the summer traveling together, visiting all the places his mother had mentioned in her letters, slowly collecting pieces of his lost self. They weren't sure what they were to each other yet. Friends, maybe something more. But that uncertainty felt good, felt alive. They'd learned that plans could change, that wrong turns could become right paths, that sometimes the person you needed most showed up holding a sign with someone else's name. Maya texted back, visit your mom for me, tell her thank you. Because if Mrs. Patterson had taught them anything, it was that love, real love, reaches across time, across distance, across every wall we build. It finds us when we need it most, often in the most unexpected ways. Maya put away her phone and smiled at her new students. Good morning, everyone. Let's start with a question. What's the bravest thing you've ever done? A dozen hands shot up, each student eager to share their story, and Maya, who'd once thought her life would be small and safe forever, listened to each one with an open heart.